Okay. Um, this channel is like a personal diary. And, it's kind of something I've observed that, if you end up reaching this level of success, if you are successful and then you tell other people, hey, this is how to be successful. Look at what I did, do as I did. And it's like, that's a little hard to take. Always was for me too, because it's like, yeah, easy for you to say. It's a little different if you're walking in my shoes to say all of that positive shit that these positive people keep saying. So I kind of thought that we get influenced by example. And if I wanted to influence the world in my life and my experience, I needed to set that example. And it is a matter of, okay, this is how low you can get. This is the bottom, and this is how I'm pulling myself out. If what works for me ends up working for you, then aren't we on the same path? Now, um, although you can be aware of shit, it ain't as though you can, jump into everything you know. It's like, don't do as I do, do as I say. And it's like, that's so full of bullshit because nobody listens to the words, they listen to the actions. It's like your words are full of bullshit if you can't even listen to your own words, and have have the actions that is more influential. It's so whatever words anybody says is actually all bullshit. Look at the actions, look at the effects that everybody has, and that is more influential. And that is what I found is more effective. So that's why I did this channel. Is, yeah, here's my flaws, here's where I am at, here's how fucked up I am. And it's like, are you fucked up too? Excuse the language, I know it's offensive to somebody, but this is me, this is where I'm at. Not really caring where everybody else is at right now. I am caring and focusing on myself. This is my diary. Nobody's supposed to read my diary because it's my diary. But feel free to look at it if you want to see what's going on inside my head. And inside my head goes on right now is not too many people are giving a shit about what goes on with me. They want me to get into their lives. And it's like, hey, people, get into my life. And it's like, that's where we're kind of all fucking up. So it's like, if you don't want to swear, don't swear in your life. If you don't like people swearing, then don't be around people that are swearing. Like, choose your own path that you want to go, but don't try and change anybody else. Be the change that you want to be. I don't like people judging me and telling me what to do. So somebody that tells me not to swear, it's like, kind of makes me want to swear twice as much. Because I don't like the judging. And it's like, I won't judge you, so don't you judge me. It's all messed up. Anyways, part of the biggest challenge that I've got is this fucking smoking addiction. Kind of would like everybody to see, what I deal with on a regular basis. That, okay, addictions, not really exactly all that effective. What good is knowing all of the answers, having an all knowing, if you still have a smoking addiction that you can't quit? So it's like, I've been just sort of doing my thing, like, you have to jump out of the problem that you're experiencing. And it's like, okay, I'm not out in that world, I'm not out earning that income, that dollar that we all know is just screwing up the whole economic system. So it's like, I ain't going out there doing everything I know that's wrong out there. I'm like in my own house doing everything that's wrong right here by smoking and saying, okay, I got this all knowing, and yet with this all knowing, I'm still smoking. And it's like, okay, try and make some logic sense out of that. And it's like, you can't have an all knowing. You do know exactly what the hell you're doing. It's a matter of, are you jumping into what it is that you want to do? Kind of wanted to, yeah, let the smoking addiction just be like, just put it out on the diary so that you can kind of see, yeah, there is a little insanity going on, that I am smoking, while you have this all knowing. And it's like, what is causing that? What is making me still smoke? And what is the purpose of that? So there's kind of the purpose at it. So you can see that I do have an addiction that I'm going on. Kind of know exactly what it is that I need to do to stop this addiction. First of off, it's like, you can kind of tell that nobody would be able to say, oh, she's a depressed person. Like, I ain't depressed. I can laugh. I can see the positive of everything in life. I am not how they would diagnose somebody that is a depressed person. But only I know what's in my head, and it is a depression. It's not just an economic depression. It's a, who the fuck wants to live in this world when everybody's so screwed up? Who wants to live in this world where we can't even communicate with each other? Who wants to live in this world where we're tied to an almighty buck when, the rich don't give a shit about the poor? That we're saying mean things to each other, we have no compassion for each other. I mean, I've seen the world in a more awake way than anybody else has seen. I see that our world is totally, totally insane. And it doesn't even matter who you talk to. We are dealing with severe insanity right now. And that's the world I live in. And it is kind of depressing because it's like, I don't want to live in this kind of world. So I know that you got to be the solution. If you don't like your world, you got to change your world. But it starts with me. And that is what my smoking addiction is. It is, I'd rather die than live in this world. And it's Jesus, people, anybody that says anything negative towards me, kind of go for that smoke. And part of what got me smoking again was my friggin' son got married without me. Don't worry, that problem, he's off in his, kids are living their own lives, and he's really, really busy and no time for his mother. Family is not a priority. But, we have talked, and we are friendly, and there is still an awful lot of love we share between each other. There's absolutely no concern about the relationship I have with my son. However, he is working for that almighty dollar, and he is, enjoying his staff and not family. But it's like, he's got to learn his own mistakes, and I'm not going to preach. I'm just going to, hey, love you, kid, and support him on his way and do my thing. I need to be doing my thing. But that's what ended up getting me on this smoking addiction, is knowing that he got married without me. And it was like the hardest thing to ever overcome. And there was a lot of bad shit that had to go on in order for that to happen. A lot of misunderstandings, a lot of untruths, a lot of lies had to be told in order to, have a wedding without me. Anyways, so the programming that goes on in my head is, the world ain't, there's no way the world's going to shift. So I got to change that to, the world's about to shift. The world's about to shift. Then it's, I'm not ready to quit. So I got to start reprogramming my brain to say, I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit. I got to say, there's always going to be something that's so painful, that I'm just going to want to die. So I got to say, as soon as something challenging comes up, that's when I'm going to feel more strength and more powerful and more connected. That is what goes on with addiction. That's what goes on with any negative shit that you've got in your life. You got some tape recording going on in your head. It's a neurology that you have to be aware that you have it. And then, because it will be a belief. So you got to change that belief, and you got to say that over and over and over and over and over again in your mind, the absolute opposite. So it's like, when I quit smoking, it's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be the easiest thing I've ever done. One day I'll just pop up and never want to smoke. I am so ready to quit. I am ready to quit. The world is changing. The world is, a great, amazing place to be in. This is all about, participating in the change. There's a whole pile of different messages that I got to say to myself. And then there's health things. This all knowing, you do know what you need to do. And I know what it is I need to do for myself. It's a matter of jumping into what I know my voice is saying. But these programmings, they control your arms, they control your legs, they control your lungs, they control every aspect of you, this neurology that goes on you. So it's like paralyzes you from doing what it is you know you should be doing. So you can change that programming inside you all of the time. So this week, this is a really cool key, is that you have to go into the problem, because it's like when you're right next to death is the time that you make a change. So for me, kind of know all of this is ready. I'm kind of ready to change. I'm going to go into a week into the problem, which means I'm going to smoke twice as much, because when I smoke twice as much, it's going to weaken me. It's going to really get me into a point of being, extremely non-productive. You might see less videos of me. You may see everything about me not looking as healthy. But it's like when you go into the problem, then you make a massive shift. So that's what I'm going to be doing, in this next week, is probably go into that problem even more as I start saying all of the more positive things in my life. The more that I see that I can't do anything, that I'm being paralyzed with the addiction, the more the programming in my mind is going to be to have more strength, to love my body, to, if I want to speak, then I've got to look after my throat and my lungs. I can't be coughing all the time. You'll probably see, if I do videotapes, that I will be coughing a lot more. And the more I'm coughing, the more I'm not able to talk and share the messages that I want to share. So, it's got to be, I've got to see myself, the harm the addictions are doing, that it's going to get at me to the destruction of who I am, and then I got to make a shift. It's got to be, you don't want this, you want something else. So after this week, I already know what's probably going to happen is, while I'm extremely, extremely weak, I'm going to have to flush my system out. So I already have everything ready to, do a massive flush. And going to have to get into the exercising that I've been talking about, because that's the only way to flush your system out, is to really move um, athletically and get everything out of your system. But it's like you got to really be off that cliff first before you make it. And while you go off that cliff, you got to be telling yourself a lot more positive messages. So that's where I'm going to be at. Smoking should be gone in, I'm saying, about a week to 2 weeks. It should be gone perfectly. We'll see if it works. Peace out.